My name is Robert Jaquay, and welcome to Getting to Know You, a weekly program introducing you to people in and around Colonie, people you may have heard about or even may have met briefly but would like to know better. If you live in the town of Colonie, you probably already know that there are two school districts serving us. As taxpayers, we are asked to support our respective district through our property taxes. As parents, we focus generally on the school attended. But in speaking to today's guest, I found that there was a lot more to learn. Our guest today is Michael Marcelle, Superintendent of the South Colonie School District. So let's go meet him. Mike, welcome. Glad you're our guest today.
Thank you, Robert. Glad to be here.
Before we start talking about the school district, Mike, why don't you give us a bit of your background, how you came to Colonie?
Sure, be happy to. Well, I grew up in Mechanicville, New York, and attended a local school, LaSalle Institute in Troy. Went on to the State University College at Cortland. Graduated from there and was a social studies teacher in Canastota, New York, outside of Syracuse. Went into ed administration. Got a master's at Cortland, as well as a CAS in ed administration there as well, Certificate of Advanced Study. Became an assistant principal at Canastota for a couple of years. Then I moved on to be a high school principal in Pine Plains, New York. Then moved on to be a middle school principal in Mount Markham in central New York. Later on was a superintendent at Cherry Valley, Springfield, from about 1991 to 1996. 1996 moved on to Scotia Glenville, where I served there for 8.5 years as a superintendent of schools. And then an opportunity came up here in South Colonie. And having grown up with Colonie, knew the area very well, really admired the school system, and was very fortunate to get the position as superintendent of schools. And I've been here since April of 2005.
And we're glad you're here.
Oh, thank you.
A wonderful addition to the school scene anyway, but to the whole community, really.
Thank you.
What is your role as superintendent? It's a huge job.
Well, it's a huge role. In essence, you're the chief executive officer, as we say, chief school officer of a large operation. South Colonie Schools, we have an annual budget of about $80 million. We service over 6,000 students, both in our buildings as well as in schools outside of our school district in some cases. We employ over 1,000 people, and our primary concern in every decision we make is in the best interest of the children that we serve. So it's a huge operation. It is a very well organized operation. A lot of credit needs to go to my predecessor, Dr. Thomas Brown, and the Board of Education and the administration and the staff. And the dedication that they have to the children is exemplary.
Well, certainly it's a huge responsibility. An idea for people who don't know South Colonie, goodness knows who are they, but who don't know South Colonie in terms of the school district, how would you describe it geographically, or the number of schools, things like that?
We're a suburban school district that's got a changing student population to it. Obviously located between Schenectady and Albany. We have 5 elementary schools, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school, plus an alternative learning center. The district has made a major commitment to at-risk students at different levels for them to be successful. We're concentrating a lot of our efforts on early childhood education. We're finding out we want to provide more services for children when they come into our schools at their early age. We're also very proud of our special needs program. We have a substantial special needs population, students with a variety of handicapping conditions, and the district does a very good job of trying to provide programs within the school district for those children as well. And then also we're trying to help all of our students obviously meet the Regents standards and the Regents diploma and the advanced Regents diploma that now exist in New York State.
It's clear that there's a lot of planning that goes into a project as big as this, or your scope. I noticed on your webpage, or when we talked also before, you have a goals and vision statement or plan for the future. You want to talk about that?
Sure, be happy to. We are constantly planning and looking ahead. As educators, we always have to try to think where do we want to be in 3 to 5 years, whether it's our budget, whether it's our programs, whether it's our facilities. So throughout the course of the year, the Board of Education, administration, staff, and I work on a planning process, and we set goals. And every year, around the end of September, We identify the goals for the current school year, and our Board of Education approves those, and then we do our best to meet those goals.
So it's a fluid document. You are revising it all the time.
Right. Very fluid document, always revising. We're finding out that in education, changes are taking place all the time. Whether it's a mandate from New York State, whether it's a program we want to put in for our students, anything that comes down that we think is going to benefit our children, we're going to take a look at and try to incorporate it into those goals and make that a reality for our students.
Are there special areas within the goals and visions? I mean, you want to highlight for us?
I'd be happy to. Yeah, this year, for example, in 2006-2007 school year, we've identified a number of areas. A key one is a strategic plan that we're working on.
Okay.
The Board of Education and I want to try to get a sense from our school community, where do we want to be? Where do South Colonie schools want to be in 3 to 5 years? In order to get there, we've enlisted the services of the New York State School Boards Association, who have facilitators that are going to come in, and we're asking our school and community residents to be part of focus groups.
Okay.
Where they're going to meet with these facilitators, and we're going to ask them a series of questions about our school district, what they see as strengths, areas they see we need to improve upon, and where do we want to be in 3 to 5 years. We've identified about 8 different focus groups. It'll include students, community residents, business representatives, parents, of course, faculty, non-instructional staff. We want to give everybody a chance to participate and get a real good snapshot of where people think we are and where we need to be in the next 3 to 5 years. That's going to be one of the major goals that we have. Then programmatically, we have a couple other initiatives going on as well.
All right.
Okay. For example, in Roselleville Elementary School, we're piloting a transitional kindergarten program. Currently, South Colonie schools have a half-day kindergarten program. All right, we're looking for ways to improve our early education services to students. One of those options is to move towards a full-day program. We've seen in other school districts successes with what is known as a transitional program. The transitional program works like this. For the first half of the year, students come to school for a half-day like they would in a half-day program.
Mm-hmm.
From January to June, those students now come for a full day.
So you're preparing them for the eventuality.
Preparing them for the future and the eventuality of a full-day program. The benefits of it, not only the academics, the social benefits of being with other children and being there for the full day, but by the time students are done in June, these students now know what a full day is like at school, know what the cafeteria is like, know what it is to ride on a bus before and after school on a longer day, know all about the facility, and we believe they're going to be ready to read and ready to move in first grade and to be in better shape for the future. So we're hoping that that'll
Are
reap
you
some
actually
benefits.
starting that right now, or it's
We
already
are.
in place?
It's in Roselleville Elementary School. We're
Okay,
piloting it this year. We're looking to incorporate it in another school next year, yet to be determined. And there is a movement in New York State to move towards a full-day kindergarten program. The Board of Regents is considering that proposal. And they're looking at the possibility of doing it by the year 2010. We want to be proactive. We want to be ready, and by 2010 have it in place.
Good idea.
So it's part of the vision that we have, for the district and the goals that we have as well.
I know New York State has a lot to do with
Mhm.
how it sets out curriculum and things like that,
Mhm.
and the mandates. But do you look beyond the state? I mean, do you look at the national scene and
We
see
do.
what's happening educationally?
We do actually have to now, with No Child Left Behind,
Okay.
which is a national initiative. We have to look beyond the state. New York has always had a proud history of being cutting edge and a trendsetter in education. Many times the standards that we have in New York State far exceed those in other states. But we're always taking a look, obviously, at other states and see what programs they have. And with No Child Left Behind, and with a large number of federal dollars tied up in the funding of our schools, we have to look nationally, too, and there is an accountability there as well.
I want to go back to the strategic planning
Sure.
initiative, I'll call
Okay.
it, and the fact that you're going to have a variety of focus groups.
Mhm.
Now, I've been to the web page, and I will
Yep.
talk about your web
Sure.
page, which
Mhm.
is very impressive, by
Thank
the
you.
way, which actually talks about this. But how would people that are looking in on this
Mhm.
show, do you want volunteers, or are you going to actually
We
go
do.
out and seek people?
Actually, on our webpage, we have an advertisement for volunteers. As a matter of fact, we're already receiving phone calls,
Oh, really?
which is very
Good.
positive. We have a press release that's coming out in the papers sometime in the next week or so. We will have a copy of our school newsletter, the In Focus, with information about this as well. So we're looking for volunteers from the community, people that have something to say about the schools. We want them to come in and give them an opportunity to let us know how they feel.
Now, you have programs at the school that involve parents coming in as well.
We do.
I mean, do you use that also as a means to sort of advertise
We
something
do,
like
we
this?
do. We take an opportunity if we're having an open house. We had an awards program at the high school the other night. We use that. We've had some openings of our new libraries at a couple of our elementary schools. So we've used that opportunity as well, and we'll continue to use those.
Something near and dear to my heart, libraries. But,
Yes.
I live near one of the schools,
Mhm.
and I've watched the library develop, and I'm very pleased to see that that was a focus. And talking about that, I mean, I've seen construction not only in my backyard, but I realize there's been a lot of construction over the years in the school
There has been.
district.
We're right now, we're finalizing $23 million worth of construction. The district voters approved back in May 2003.
Okay.
And that incorporates a lot of changes. Saddlewood Elementary School, Shaker Road Elementary School, new libraries, new roof at Forest Park, a cafeteria extension, a gym extension at Veeder Elementary School, renovations at Sand Creek and at the high school, and at the Jaquay Middle School, an actual addition, a new technology wing that we've added on as well, plus a number of renovations. So it's a pretty substantial project.
I know you got support for the initiative,
Mhm.
but it's nothing like people seeing the finished product. And
Without a doubt, and we're thrilled to have families come in during back-to-school nights to take a look at our new facilities and to show them what we're doing for our students, and to thank them also. We always take an opportunity to bring them together and say, thank you for your support. We couldn't do this without you.
You know, when we talk about in the world of taxes, we always
Mhm.
people are always worried about their taxes going up, and we know
Mhm.
that the school, you know, not only for a lot of reasons,
Mhm.
needs more money.
Mhm.
Everybody does these days. People supported this particular initiative.
Mhm.
Are you reluctant to? I mean, it looks like you might need more.
Well, we do, Bob, actually. And we are looking on October 19th to ask our community for a little more. In October of every year, we have a proposition to put out for our buses, bus
Okay, the bus
referendum.
one, right.
And what we do at that time is ask our community for their support as we replace part of our fleet. We have about 77 buses in our fleet. After every so many years, like a vehicle at home, they need to be replaced. So we have a replacement plan, so we go out to our community. This October, we're looking at going out to the community and asking them for some more help with a small building project of about $9 million. This all came about last year. One of our goals was to take a look at all the conditions of all our buildings. New York State requires every school to do what they call the building condition survey.
All right.
So we had our architect come in and take a look at every roof, every boiler, every wall, every window, all parts of our school. We knew we were going to do a lot of changes with the construction that we had, but what was out there, what needed to be changed in the next 3 to 5 years, very similar to the strategic plan. The architect reported back to our Board of Education in the spring and identified a number of areas that we'd like to work on. Those include roofs and boilers at a number of our schools. Also look at floor drains in some of our schools and our bus garage as well. There are changes in state mandates about floor drains and what can go down a drain and where they go now too as well. So all these changes have to take place. So on October 19th, we're looking to put out to our voters 3 propositions.
Okay.
Number 1 will be the bus referendum. Number 2 will be a referendum for roofs and boilers on a number of our buildings. And proposition number 3 will ask for their support with the floor drain work we have to do. Plus, we're looking at a small addition of 3 classrooms on the Veeder Elementary School.
I was going to ask you about
Yeah.
classrooms, but go ahead with this.
And the reason is we're experiencing growth in the end of the district where Veeder and Jaquay are, and we're maxed out for space now. And as we look at a transitional kindergarten program we just mentioned earlier, we have to have the space for it as well. So Veeder is one place we'd like to try to add 3 additional classrooms to get that building ready. So by 2010, we'll have ample space to handle any growth that occurs, plus a kindergarten program there of more than a half day.
I know you want everyone to vote yes on this. The impact, though, I mean, you give this information up front. I mean, people would know before they went in
Right.
What this will do to their taxes.
We do, actually. On our website, we have a question and answer page, and this is also what we're handing out at a lot of public assemblies and meetings that we have that talks about the impact. One thing our school district does, we have a certain amount of debt service. You know, we're paying for building projects, we're
Right.
paying for buses. What we try to do is maintain a level debt service, a flatline debt service, so that there aren't huge bumps every year that the taxpayers have to pick up on. This year also, we've got a unique opportunity from the state. There is a new item called Excel Aid that came out in the New York State budget this year. And South Colonie School District is eligible for $1.85 million of Excel Aid. We don't know how long it's going to be available,
Right.
but we want to be out ahead of the curve and be able to use that Excel Aid as part of our building project. Plus, we get more than 50% of building aid from the state as well. So we feel it's an ideal opportunity to combine those two items, take the things that were identified by the architect in the building condition survey, and let's put it out to the voters and ask for their approval.
People are generally pretty understanding. I mean,
Mhm.
they value the schools, they value the education process. You don't really find much resistance in terms of people meeting something like this?
You find some.
Some.
You do. You know, we get calls, we get concerns. The community here in South County has been tremendous. We can't thank them enough. They've supported our budgets for years, a lot of innovative programs we have. The services we provide to our students, I'm amazed as the chief school officer coming from 2 other school districts where I was superintendent. We take that next step. We go above and beyond to try to help our students succeed. And the community's been very supportive of that. Well, we're also worried, Bob, about that balance between
Right.
what we can provide our students and what our community can afford. And we're very cognizant of that as well. And we try to keep that balance, keep our debt service level, try not to have huge increases in budgets. Any unfunded mandates that come in, we try to absorb. We'll take a look at existing program, and if some things are not where we want them to be, we may make a shift or move in another direction. So we're constantly doing that inside internally. We're taking a look at everything we have and what we want to continue and what new avenues we want to go.
I believe there's a shortage of teachers nationwide. I mean, how does this
Yeah.
impact the colony?
It does. There
School
are
district.
some in certain subject areas. There are teacher shortages. We're finding out that in the area of foreign language, there are some shortages. In some of the sciences, especially physics and chemistry and others such as that. The area of technology, which we used to call industrial arts or shop in
Right.
days when
Remember
you
it
and I
well.
were in school. Okay. The area of technology, certified technology teachers are hard to come by. All right. And it all depends at different times of the year, too, when an opening occurs. Occupational therapists, physical therapists, people such as this at times, too, sometimes are difficult to find, and it's a challenge for school districts. One thing that works for us is the fact that South Colonie has a great history, and a lot of people want to be here in our school district. So we're fortunate at times that we do get a number of applicants for many positions, but not all of them because of the shortage.
Curious question just came up.
Yep.
You get people who actually went through the school system and
Oh,
come
very
back?
much so. We get a good number of individuals who've come through the school system, have gone on to college, and say, I want to come back here and work. And I love to hear that,
Yeah.
you know, because they have a sense of pride, they have a sense of ownership. We know they're very proud of the school district. We know they're going to help us take it to the next level. And we call them the next generation of teachers, you know, coming through and working in our schools.
That's great.
Mm.
I also believe on your webpage, correct me if I'm
Mhm.
wrong, but you do have a job, you have job listings?
We
so that
do.
if someone was
We do.
interested, they
Correct.
could actually go to the website?
We do.
too.
Our webpage is loaded with information. It was one of our major goals last year, and we're very proud of where we are, and we're going to keep moving on that too. But we post every position that we have. Job applications are there as well. People can communicate with us via the web. They can send questions to me and others. You know, I've gotten questions from candidates about positions, things such as this. So it's a great vehicle for people to use. Many people will use the local media, the newspapers, et cetera, and will see our jobs listed, but we recommend they go to our webpage if they want
And we're going to talk about
yeah,
your webpage,
sure.
and we'll actually post the webpage
Okay,
address. So
great, thank you.
you want to give it to us now, we can make sure as you're saying it, we'll put it up there for
Sure,
people.
www.southcountyschools.org.
That's simple, easy, and we'll put it up again at the end of the show as
Thank
well.
you. So,
One of the things that we talked about in preparation for the program was the use of the web, and some of the desire you had for people to know that that's the place to go for information.
It is.
We talked about school closings and
Mhm.
other things like that.
yeah.
Something happened, I believe, yesterday. That
Perfect example, Bob. Thank you. Yesterday at Jaquay Middle School, we found out during the day that our fire alarm system was not functioning properly. There was no real fire. It was just a ballast and a light that started to smell and put out a puff of smoke. It didn't trigger the alarm system. We checked and found the alarm system was at fault. So we sent the students home early, about a couple hours before the end of the school day. One of the first things we did was, through our public relations department, posted on our website the letter the principal was sending home with every child, which was an explanation of what had happened at the school, the fact that the students were coming home early, and any updates that we had along the way, including the fact that we were in session again today.
Okay.
And we solved the problem last evening. We used our website, and we're encouraging our school and community more and more to use it. We had another incident last year in another building where we let the students go home 15 minutes early, and I got an email from a concerned parent, and I just emailed the person back, go to www.southcountyschools.org. The information's right there. Within 2 minutes, he thanked me. He said, "Thank you. That is perfect." You know, the information was there. I may not be available. Other people may not be available to talk to others. We also encourage the local media, whether it's the newspapers or TV or radio, to go to our website for updates too, for information too.
Okay.
So that helps keep them informed as well as what we're doing.
And even though you're pushing people or wanting people, advertising to go to the website, you still, if people needed to call,
Oh, yes.
contact
Yeah.
you in other ways,
Yeah,
they could.
there are people that want to talk to someone,
Sure.
want an explanation, may have a question that we didn't answer with the information that's there, and we're ready, willing, and available to do that.
I hate to say it, we just started September and we're enjoy a fall, but inevitably we have to deal with school closings.
You
So
got it.
school closings is going to be one of the things that you will put
Yes,
on the web as well.
Definitely. Actually, we're looking at an actual banner we could put on there, and we're looking into doing that, which would allow me from home, once I decide to close school, to put a notice on there. So when people go to the website, you won't get our regular web page. You'll get a banner saying schools are closed or a 2-hour delay or something such as this. But until then, and like we did yesterday, we make it the lead story. So as soon as you go to the website, that'll pop right up there too.
Yeah.
We're trying to put up something more attractive, a banner or something like this that'll grab people's attention more too.
Well, at the outset, I said I was impressed by your
Yeah.
website and giving it the test and being able to maneuver
Mhm.
through it. It was very easy
Mhm.
to do.
Yeah.
So I noticed there was an article that talked about. I'm just going to say the idea was about a healthy student. There's an initiative or
Oh, yeah.
a program that you've.
Yeah, we had a number of teachers work on a curriculum project for healthy students, especially in the elementary school. And this summer, we had on the local TV, very nice piece done about it, and the initiative that we're pushing in the fall for healthy children, especially in the elementary schools, eating right, exercising, making wise choices, proper choices when it comes to food and other things. And we have a number of teachers who put a curriculum together, and it's outstanding. And we're proud of we're advertising and posting it on the web.
I loved your first liner there about talking about we're noticing that students are getting rounder.
Yes, they are.
very, very nicely put.
Yes, they are. So, and we want to help them in any way we can.
Any other projects or programs that you want to highlight?
Yeah, some of the other goals that we're working
Okay.
on this year, as I mentioned, early childhood intervention. We're taking a look in our grades K through 2, kindergarten through 2nd grade, what we call a response to intervention program, RTI. Many times, if a student's not successful in school, we don't have an opportunity to really take a look at that student, to do a number of evaluations before we say, let's do a special needs evaluation and perhaps identify the child as special needs. Okay? There's a number of other avenues and ways we can go. And what we want to do is, we've got our school psychologist, our entire group of department, did an outstanding job this summer preparing a program that in all of our elementary schools, we're going to have what we call instructional support teams. And as a student is identified as being needy, we'll be able to evaluate that student, whether it's a reading concern, It may be some type of other kind of minor disability that is not necessarily identified as a special need, and come up with strategies that teachers can use in the classroom or our reading specialists could use or other supports we have in the building to try to help that student be successful before we identify them as a special needs student.
How do you involve the parent in this?
What we do, the parent is involved all the way on this. It starts off with, as we identify students, we let the parents know we'll be working with that student and perhaps doing some testing with them. As we do different types of evaluations, we bring the parent in and we'll be reviewing all the information with them, keeping them informed all along the way, and helping them to be part of the decision. The bottom line is we need their support, the parent support.
Absolutely.
We need their blessing. We need their support at home. We may be having some ideas where we could say at home, could you do the following? Let's say it's identification of letters for a kindergarten student, okay? Let's take your newspaper and circle the letter E's and have the child circle the letter E's and identify them and do things such as this. Those are the kinds of things that we may be asking parents to do, or reading with your child every night. We know the value of that. Perhaps helping them with their homework, things such as this. We need the parents' involvement, the parent support.
We've covered a lot of territory, but we're getting close to the end of the program. So,
Okay.
is there something you would like to bring out right now while you have the chance, or have we pretty much hit all the bases?
We've hit a lot of the bases. There's a few more goals and items that we've got. Let me just mention them briefly, if I may. Okay. We talked a lot about early childhood intervention. We're also doing some intervention services on the middle level, grades 7, 8, and 9. We have an alternative learning center on Central Avenue.
Yes.
We work very closely with the town of Colonie and with this facility. And we offer an alternative program for at-risk students for grades 7 and 8. This year we're expanding it to 9th grade. We're identifying students coming out of our middle schools that may not be successful in the conventional high school of 2,000 students that we have and need a little more transitioning. So we've identified these students, we've involved their parents with them, told them all about the program, and we're working with these students, and they may spend part of their day at CALC, the Central Avenue Learning Center, and the other part over at the high school, and our goal is to transition them into the high school to be successful. We know with the new standards in New York State, the Regents requirements, it is a challenge for a number of students. One of the challenges we have as a school district under No Child Left Behind is to get all the students through these assessments, and we want to do our best for them. So we feel this is going to help children make that transition from 8th grade to 9th grade. So that's another one of the programs we have. And we're also looking at, Bob, our home instruction services. We have students that, because of physical condition, may have been involved in an accident, can't come to school. We're providing home instruction services for them. We also have other students that are not successful in a traditional classroom, all right, for a variety of reasons, or a traditional school. And we're looking for ways to provide instruction for them to work them back into the school. And we're using the CALC, the Central Avenue Learning Center again, as a facility, and we've set up times with tutors there for these students as well.
Great. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, I can't thank you enough for being my guest today. I've really enjoyed talking with you and learning more about the school district. And you can count on me keeping tabs on you and inviting you back to see how these initiatives and things are followed through, because I think it would be interesting to all the people who are in the Colonie area and in the district as well. So
I want to thank you very much for the opportunity. As you can see, we have a lot of exciting things going on. It's a great school system. And I want to thank the community for their support, and we want to try to keep them advised and informed of what's happening too. So I thank you for this opportunity, Bob. Thanks a lot.
You're very welcome. Thank you for joining me today on Getting to Know You. I hope you like the show, and I hope you plan to visit us next week.